This is Melodrama's cockeyed, gangrene sister. Let's go crazy. Oh my God, Lorde! We are so fucking back. Many such cases. No, I just realized what that's about. Oh, for fuck's sake. Lorde, I was giving you the benefit of the doubt and you threw it in my face. Damn it! I liked that song. Now, every time I listen to it, I'm gonna think that it's about that. Wish I'd kept my pregnancy tests. I'd remember how it feels to be so bare in the throes. She was like, I was riding bareback with my hair undone in the front seat of his car. Soap. Sorry. Soap. It's finally here. After a few months of nonsense, we are sat ready to listen to Lorde's fourth studio album, Virgin, and I'm really excited. If you want to see the unedited version of this reaction video, you can go to patreon.com/Swiftologist and buy it as a one-off or sign up. We've got plenty of amazing content for you behind that paywall. I will also be reacting to Miley Cyrus and Marina behind that paywall, so that won't be going on YouTube at all. If you want to see it, you can go and view it there. How am I feeling going into Virgin? Well, we've had a couple of months of nonsense. I kind of tuned out of what Lorde was saying about the album after the Rolling Stone piece, and I made a video about that, but I wanted to go into this album as a Lorde lover because that really is what I am. Lorde is an extremely important artist to me, has been since I was like 16 years old. Your Heroine changed my life, and Melodrama changed my life even further. Where she kind of started to lose me was with Solar Power. I have a whole video about why that just didn't click or resonate with me. I don't think it was good writing. And What Was That was a real return to form. I've seen really mixed opinions about it, but it definitely is like one of the songs of the summer. To me, personally, I love Lorde being reflective in like a frenetic and kind of psychotic way. And that is exactly what Was That and Green Light. And that frisson is, I think, what animates a lot of her best work. So today we're going to be listening to Virgin for the first time. I am nervous. I am excited. I want to like it. I am really going into this with the expectation of I love Lorde. I trust her artistry, and I don't think she's going to let me down. I think there will probably be a few moments where I'm like, what is that? But that always happens with a Lorde record. She's a little weird. She's a freaky girl, and that's part of what makes her so incredible. So I have to warn you all that this is a reaction, not a review, and I have to keep giving this disclaimer over and over again. So if you are mad at me that I don't immediately catch something or process it in the way that you think that I should, keep in mind that this is my first time hearing it. And the stans always like to go crazy when I don't like something. I'm really hoping that's not the case here today. I want to like this, but if for whatever reason I don't like it, you will survive. You will be fine. You will continue to live your life. You will breathe. And if you try to do any sort of like ganging up nonsense in my comment section, I'll block and delete. I have no shame in blocking and deleting, so I'm happy to do that. And also make sure to subscribe to my channel because I just hit 150,000 subscribers, which is awesome. And I know a lot of you are watching and not subscribing, so let's remedy that, shall we? So the first track on this album is called Hammer. I have not listened to it. I believe this is the third single. I did listen to Man of the Year, and I'll share my thoughts on that when we get to its place on the track list, but Hammer is the third single. It has a music video. I'm gonna watch the video while I react. I'm not gonna put it on screen because copyright, so let's enjoy. Okay, she's got pigeons on her shoulder. That's an affront to me as a bird terrified hater. Ew. When you're holding a hammer, everything looks like a nail. Okay. Oh, I like this. When you're holding a hammer, everything looks like... Some days I'm a woman, some days I'm a man. Some days I'm a woman, sometimes I'm a man. Well, she's been saying this. Okay. Whoa. Your ears pierced on Canal is an interesting choice to make. Girl, I know you know where St. Mark's is. Go there instead. It's a beautiful life, so I play truant. It's a beautiful life, so I play truant. There's something there. I'm ready to feel like I don't have the answer. This is a very Scorpio-coded song. It's about transformation. It's about rebirth, which Lorde is always talking about. This production style is really interesting. It is curious to see her not working with Jack Antonoff or Joe Little. Okay, we needed a beat. This is gonna have to be one of those reactions where I literally need to read the lyrics to understand what's going on. So let's process for a moment. There's a heat in the pavement, my mercury's raising, don't know if it's love or if it's ovulation. When you're holding a hammer, everything looks like a nail. That is a really interesting observation. When you're holding a hammer, everything looks like a nail. Yeah, I get the sense, because this song seems to me to be about rebirth and starting over, that there is a kind of like forcefulness of energy that she's grappling with a lot here. Rage. I guess this is kind of like the masculine energy that she's been talking about coming out of her, but she has this kind of reckless abandon. I know you don't deal much in love and affection, but I really do think there could be a connection. Girl, you got to get away from those avoidant personalities, especially as a Scorpio. Run. I might have been born again. I'm ready to feel like I don't have the answers. There's peace in the madness over our heads. Let it carry me on. This is something that comes up on like almost every Lorde album, which is interesting to me. It's this like burning it down and starting over and like transfiguration, becoming a new person. I'm thinking of that quote that's in her Instagram bio. It is an interesting way to carry on living or to view your progression through life, because if you really think about it, we are kind of always starting over. Like there is no fixed sense of self. And I think that that's what's exciting about Lorde as an artist, is that she is kind of willing to go back to the drawing board and review her circumstances. And I remember in the Rolling Stone article, something she said that sounded pretentious, but I think actually is making sense a lot now that I'm reading these lyrics, is that she understood that she doesn't have to sound smart to be a good writer. She's speaking very plainly here. And I think that it's communicating a lot more than the over stylizations, the flowery language of a record like Solar Power, or even something like the Louvre. The Louvre had very like extravagant, excessive language, and this is kind of the antithesis of that. That's not to say that the Louvre is bad. I love the Louvre, or that this is even better. Just that there is a difference in her artistic temperament. It's a fucked up world, been to hell and back, but I've sent you a postcard from the edge. Okay, I mean, this feels a bit like a half thought, or at least kind of like just a throat clear. I see this as an opening track. It really makes sense to me that this is the first track that she wanted people to hear. Jim E. Stack is doing some very interesting production work. It is verging on pots and pans to me, but I am excited to hear pop girls producing with different artists. I just think that it is generally a net positive to have more sonic influences in the space. It allows the space to evolve. Like we've had the Dan Nigers, we've had the Max Martins, we've had the Jack Antonoffs. They're all great and they all offer something unique to the space. But when all of the pop girls are working with the same people, like there is a footprint that gets left. And Lorde said that she felt that it was time for a move. This is that move. I'm excited about that. I think that it is interesting. Up next is What Was That?, which is, as we know, Song of the Summer. To me, I've waxed poetic about how much I love that song and what I think it means. That was like the best indicator for me. Lorde is so back, and then the nonsense started, then the torture started. So I would really like to harness that energy and keep it moving forward. Something I'm really appreciating about this album so far is that they are all real song lengths. We're getting like 3 minutes at least for most of these songs, and I think we need to be doing more of that. Up next is a song called Shapeshifter.
Chewing gum, I know the voice in my head says, do you have the stones?
Okay, so that's something that was said to her while she was making the album. She said that in an interview.
I've been the ice, I've been the flame.
This production is very spare. I like that. I've been the fruit that leaves a stain. That's a pretty lyric.
But tonight I just wanna fall.
Okay. A little string? Oh, I love that. Oh, this production is so nice. Mm-hmm.
I see a hot mess in an antique skirt.
Many such cases.
My head says, don't let him leave alone.
Again, the Scorpio-coded energy on this album is off the chart. There is something very, like, expansive about womanhood being mentioned on this chorus. Okay. This is like Melodrama's evil sister. A bridge! Ooh, okay. Pretty. I've never heard her voice like that before. Whoa. We are so back. That is the first song that I've heard, except for What Was That, that really made me feel and think something. And it's not that it's like a perfect song that I would love to listen to over and over again, but I felt something when I listened to it. It charged me energetically in some way. And get ready for the most esoteric review that's ever been given on Swiftologist. I think there's something very interesting about the chorus here. I've been the ice, I've been the flame, I've been the prize, the ball, the chain. I can kind of see a little bit more what she's talking about, that like swing, that push and pull between the masculine and the feminine. There is something here about wanting to interact, I guess, with physicality like a man, and wanting to throw caution to the wind and be reckless, which is something that men are like more inclined to and more empowered to do in a sexual context, while acknowledging that she has had to play all of the roles of a woman in a relationship before. I've been the prize, the ball, the chain, I've been the dice, the magic eight. So I'm not affected, is what she keeps saying over and over. It's like, I have rubbed up against all the expectations of what you want from me. And I think you can be the public, it can be a partner. And yet I'm a shapeshifter. I know that regardless of like what face or presentation I'm putting on right now, there's a core part of me that can never be moved. And you don't have the power to affect that. I'll kick you out and pull you in, swear that you were just a friend. And when it's all over again, say, I'm not affected. This is very Scorpio coded to me. I'm sorry, it is like pulling someone in and pushing them away when they got too close. Hello, hello. I also think the production in that last minute, oh, wow. I mean, this is the kind of production that you don't really hear in pop music. It's kind of like metal. Me not being able to describe why I like this song or what it's even about. You see, this is the thing with Lorde is sometimes you have to let it cook. Sometimes you need to give it a minute. And let's just say that I'm happy that this song exists, given what I've heard so far. Okay, great start, I guess. Man of the Year definitely makes more sense in context coming after Shapeshifter. Again, I can see her playing with the idea of masculinity here. I think she just articulates it badly when she's talking, which is why I'm always like, let the music speak. Let the music speak. Let's not explain things to death. And Lorde's music always does kind of speak for itself. So I'm starting to get the sense of what she's talking about, and it's not annoying when you hear it in the songs, which is great. So the next song is called Favorite Daughter. Uh-huh. Yep, we've been needing this.
Was a singer, you were my fan.
Oh, okay.
Damn, it was you in the dark.
This production is crazy. I really like it.
Anger, in love with your whim.
In love with your whim. Mhm. Say it, Lorde.
Now every day the plane takes off, and every night the room fills up with people who are convinced I'm not just some kid faking it for your love.
Ooh.
'Cause I'm an actress, all of the medals I won for ya.
Okay.
Breaking my back just to be your favorite.
Is this about that old man she dated?
Breaking my back just hoping you'll say I'm a star.
That is so sad. Breaking my back, just hoping you'll say I'm a star. That's so sad, Lorde. That's so sad. And maybe the age gap discourse has something to it, because that is not a good way to feel. That is not a good dynamic to found a relationship off of. I guess this could literally be about her father, but I don't think that it is.
You had a brother, I look like him.
Maybe it is about her dad.
Us as kids.
You told us as kids, so her and her siblings. Ooh. For every door you open, there's a room I can't go in. Oh, this chorus is great. I love her vocal here. It's like gasping almost. Oh, the production. It's industrial. That's the word I'm looking to describe the production. It came to me. Let's go crazy. Oh my God, Lorde! We are so fucking back. Okay, that was great. Now that I'm looking at the lyrics and having heard the song in its entirety, I don't think this is about her old man. I think this is about her literal old man, her father. This is really sweet and really sincere and honest. And I feel like something that Lorde is discussing here is being reunited with a sense of her teenage self. And again, back to that Rolling Stone interview, she said that that was a big part of creating this album, was trying to integrate all these versions of herself together. And this is a very sweet depiction of how it must have felt to be someone who didn't really know who they were, projecting this air of confidence and gravitas and getting acclaimed for it all around the world. Every night the room fills up with people who are convinced I'm not just some kid faking it for your love. This is the danger of being adultified. Too soon as a child, you have this kind of void inside of you. And I think that there is a little bit of a void from Lorde, which is why everything was for her parents, was to please someone. And I think that dynamic definitely can get transferred from father to other man in your life. That chorus is an earworm too. Again, this is melodrama's cockeyed, gangrene sister. She's like melodrama through a trick mirror. And I think that that is really interesting to me because melodrama was so poised and so perfect. And Virgin is so messy and imperfect. And I like that about it, to be honest, so far. This has been a great experience. Favorite daughter. Highlight so far, maybe. I also finally came up with the word that I want to use to describe the production here. Industrial. It is very industrial. And I love how there's just the very sparse and occasional use of a strong live instrument. Here it was just like one strum of an electric guitar in that last bridge and chorus. And in Shapeshifter, it was the string that came in kind of like very sparingly. I think that contrast of like something that sounds organic and real, the live instrument, paired with the, I guess, the coldness of that industrial texture that is created elsewhere in the soundscape is really a great tension. I'm cheering. Let's keep cheering. Please, please keep cheering. You know, I think the thing with Lorde is that you kind of have to buy into the nonsense a little bit. You have to agree to take her seriously and not to make fun of her when she says things that objectively can be a little bit cringe. And that's part of being a weird and freaky girl is you have to be earnest and accept that other people are going to make fun of you. But I think the reason why I have so much patience and tolerance for Lorde's nonsense is because I really believe that she's a great artist. And I really believe that she has something to say. And I think that great artists often express themselves inelegantly or in a way that doesn't appeal to us. And that's good because I don't think artists are supposed to please us all of the time. They're supposed to challenge us and upset us and torture us a little bit. And Lorde does all of those things for me, which is why I will stand. Current Affairs is the next song. Even this guitar sounds metallic.
Stood in the park under the eclipse.
Okay, witchy girl.
It's only a field trip.
This is what I mean. This is the Lorde nonsense you have to buy. I'm buying.
Then someone throws a flare. You tasted my underwear. I knew we were fucked.
You tasted my underwear. I don't like that line. I just don't like that line. I think that it's gross. But again, I just said, sometimes artists will torture and disturb you. I'm disturbed.
My bed is on fire.
Ooh.
Mama, I'm so scared.
Invoking mama after you tasted my underwear is crazy. What? Am I hearing the word pussy?
Watching the tape of their honeymoon. On the boat,
She's invoking her parents a lot here, and I think that's very indicative of your late
then the
20s.
film came out.
These really are soundscapes. I have to give it to her. Their production is incredible.
I'm so scared.
Oh,
Will you ever like this?
this sounds like
Once you
the
lay
underwater
down
world
on the edge
of Moaning Myrtle and Harry Potter.
of my life,
You know, when they open the egg? I need to be on a rooftop in New York City with a tequila soda right now.
I think he's gonna play.
Okay. The texture of this arrangement, I'm intrigued. I'm very intrigued. You see, I love when an album or when songs give me something to think about. Like, I'm gonna need to process this album and get back to you in a couple of business days because there's a lot going on here. The thing that stood out to me immediately was like how incredible that soundscape was. That was a really intricate, orchestral almost arrangement. You never really knew what was gonna come next. I think the lyrics are very sparse here. Again, tasted my underwear is not, wouldn't be my favorite Lorde moment. I also think, would you dive to the ocean floor just to take my pearl? That's kind of bad writing. That there's nothing to mind there. It's just not like we get what you mean. It's very obvious. But something that is interesting here, all alone in my room watching the tape of their honeymoon on the boat, it was pure and true. Then the film came out. I don't know if she's talking about like her parents' wedding video or if there's like, oh my God, wait, no, I just realized what that's about. Oh, for fuck's sake, Lorde, I was giving you the benefit of the doubt and you threw it in my face. This is about Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee's sex tape. You're a freak. The way that just ruined the song for me. I was like, this is about your parents. This is about getting older and realizing, you know, that maybe there's something in your parents' dynamic that you want to emulate. No, this is about watching Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee's violating sex tape and relating it to your own life. And this is the plight of trying to be a Lorde stan who's not demented. Damn it! I liked that song. Now every time I listen to it, I'm gonna think that it's about that, which it is. And that makes me really doubt Lorde's integrity. It does. It's a disgusting inclusion. I'm sorry. Well, we move, I guess. I was gonna say that sample interpolation, the girl your pussy good, it hurt me, blah, blah, blah. That's kind of what I think Camila Cabello wanted to do with BOAT on CXOXO and kind of didn't do successfully. Oh, damn. I had the wind in my sails. I was about to buy wholesale into whatever was going on here. And now I have to think of the nonsense again. And this is why you don't run your mouth before the album comes out. Promote the album. Keep it mysterious. Keep it vague. Like what Sabrina's been doing about Man's Best Friend. She's really not talking a lot about what's on the album. She's letting other people talk, and when the album comes out, then we can make our conclusions. Oh, Lord. The next song is called Clear Water. She disappoints me. And it was on the You Tasted My Underwear song, so really all the offenses happened in one place. I hope that that's it now, that I'm reprieved of embarrassment and humiliation.
After the ecstasy, testing for pregnancy, praying in MP3.
Ooh, we like a vocoder.
Metal detector hits my precious treasure. I'm nobody's daughter, yeah, baby, I'm free, I'm free.
This is more like an interlude, I feel.
But deep in my matter, you're changing my patterns. Your helix is right through me.
And looking at the lyrics on Genius, and apparently the song is about having unprotected sex.
I try letting the answer be part of the dances. I trip and I stumble, yeah, baby, I'm free, I'm free.
It's an interesting message to send about having unprotected sex. I'm free, I'm free. Yup, in the sense that to get pregnant, true.
Oh, wish I'd kept the clear blue. I'd remember how it feels to be.
Clear Blue is a brand of pregnancy test. Wish I'd kept my pregnancy tests. I'd remember how it feels to be so bare in the throes. She was like, I was riding bareback with my hair undone in the front seat of his car. He's got a one-hand feel on the steering wheel and something on my heart. That is an interesting rumination on having unprotected sex, for sure. Lorde is not your parent. Lorde is not Planned Parenthood either, so she doesn't need to make proclamations about whether having unprotected sex is good or bad or not. This is an interesting song. I like the vocoder. I like the beat. Okay, up next is a song. Now this is where she's starting to lose me. She's losing me. Stop, Lorde, you're losing me. And I don't want to be lost. I want to be with you, okay? The nonsense does make it hard to ignore. It does. All right, GRWM.
Soap.
Sorry. Soap. And then the pause. I'm crying. Okay, I'm just clowning. We need to stop clowning.
Soap. Washing him off my chest.
Okay.
Grown woman in a baby tee.
A grown woman in a baby tee. Many such cases.
Wide hips.
Okay.
96. Skin scar.
It's giving closure.
Back when the stolen spirits went straight to the
Okay, so this is about drinking with your friends as a teen and being crazy.
maybe a grown woman in a baby tee.
That does feel like a very obvious equivalence. A grown woman in a baby tee. You see how I never grew up. Can we get a real song? We had Clear Blue, which was basically a spoken word poem. We had this, which was Pots and Pans. So I would like to hear a song up next. And the next song is called Broken Glass.
I let myself get sucked in by arithmetic.
Okay, right. This is about her relation to her body.
Did I call myself to sleep about that? Cheat about that? Rot teeth about that?
Oh,
I wanna punch the mirror to make her see that this won't last. It might be mine's a bad luck, but what if it's just broken glass? Make it wait till all I had won't
yeah. This is an important song.
to quit, loosen my grip. It's tough to admit just how much I get from it. It might be mine's a bad luck, but what if it's
This is a beautiful image. Well, I think the girls need this song. This is a very compelling and brave song. I feel like you don't really hear people, artists, pop artists, exploring body image issues in a way like this. Like you don't really hear them describing like how good it felt and how bad it felt to be in the cycles of having a disordered relationship with your eating or with your body in general. And she is talking about what she gets from it, but also how much she paid for it. I really love the chorus. Did I cry myself to sleep about that? Did I cheat about that? Did I rot my teeth about that? To be skinny? Did I sweat hours a week about that? Compete about that? Lose my freak about that? All of the above, she says. And that's a hard lesson to learn because I think that, you know, having any sort of like control over your body image issue is something that can really monopolize your time and becomes a superstition almost. It becomes this like secret that you have with yourself that ends up speaking back to you in a very dangerous way. And the way Lorde describes that and then brings the chorus around, which is, I want to punch the mirror to make her see that this won't last. It might be months of bad luck, but what if it's just broken glass? I think, again, that disordered eating relationship can be a lot about like superstition, these rules, these arbitrary rules that you make for yourself, the arithmetic that she's talking about. And she's saying here, like, we need to break the cycle. If you are able to try and stop behaving this way, you will break the spell and the spell won't exist anymore because there is that superstition that, you know, breaking a mirror brings a lot of bad luck into your life. And I think that the idea here that she's expressing is that she thought that if she let go of the sense of control that she needed to have over the way that she looked, that horrible things would happen to her and the world would end. But what if it's just broken glass? Like, what if this is just something that you need to act out against and your life will keep going? Your life will keep moving. Nothing really bad will happen to you. If anything, it will get better for you. Won't outrun her if you don't hit back. It's just broken glass. This is a very galvanizing song. I think that this is super honest, and this is the kind of song that really only Lorde is capable of delivering. And brava, kudos to you, Lorde. I think that's a beautiful song and a really interesting experience to take down. If she could see me now.
In the city, I hear the voices of the ancients. They're calling for us. Hear the horses running up Prince Street.
Is she talking about the history of New York City? Again, the production is crazy.
In the gym, yesterday I lifted your body weight.
Say that.
And everything else falls away.
You see how the sound design on this album keeps you guessing.
I can feel Tony fantasy.
Ooh. There's like a swagger to this too.
The camera and not the red carpet. I'm going back to the clay.
She said, no more celebs. Oh, this production. Heavenly, celestial, very interesting. Again, this is another one that I'm really gonna need to cook on. This one is about, I guess, feeling connected to something bigger than yourself and letting that be your guiding principle and letting the kind of mundanity of things that don't matter to you fall away, like red carpets and cameras. That's not important to Lorde at this point. Production on this is really, really compelling. And I do think that it's really impressive that it's just her and Jim Eastack, whoever that is, producing these songs together. The fact that she's got a production credit on basically everything shows what an arranger she is. The last song on Virgin is called David.
If I'd had virginity, I would have given that to.
Okay.
Why do we run to the ones we do? Was I just young blood to get on tape? Uppercut to the throat, I was off guard. Pure heroin mistaken for featherweight.
Pure heroin mistaken for featherweight. Okay. I think this might be about that man.
Swore I'd never let myself sing again for you.
Ooh, she's mad. I love that.
I made you God 'cause it was
I made you God because it was all that I knew how to do. Oh, girl, get up. Wow, this production.
Typically you ever feel like a friend. Am I ever gonna love again?
Okay, what an interesting place to end this album. I see a definite connection between David and Favorite Daughter. In Favorite Daughter, she's kind of talking about the pure heroine period of time, which is mentioned here, pure heroine mistaken for featherweight. She's talking about a period of time where I think she felt kind of thrown to the wolves a little bit as a literal child in Hollywood, projecting again this very like serious, acclaimed vision of herself before she had even come into herself or really understood what being an adult was like. She, in that period of time, was really chasing her father's approval. She wanted him to clap and cheer for her, to support her, to tell her that she was good and that she was worth something. And she's talking about a relationship here that was clearly started with someone when she was very young. Was I just someone to dominate? She wonders. Was I just young blood to get on tape? Pure heroine mistaken for featherweight. Girl, oh no. Oh no. And then I made you God because it was all that I knew how to do, but I don't belong to anyone. That's kind of the revelation, I think, that has come through on Virgin. I don't belong to anyone. And it's interesting because in that Rolling Stone profile, not to bring it back to that again, but she talked about how in this period of being single for the first time, being out of the clutches of an older man, which is kind of what goes unsaid, but I think what we can read between the lines here, she finally had to reckon with, who am I for myself, Ella? Like, how do I become a human being without needing the approval of or seeking the attention of a man or an older father figure of some description? Like, how can I just be for me? I don't belong to anyone, is the conclusion that she came to when she was making this record. And I think you can hear it all over it. And am I ever going to love again? Ouch. Ouch. Will you ever feel like a friend? Do you understand? It's really hard when you, because she said in the Rolling Stone interview as well, that relationship didn't end badly, technically. They're still on good terms. She has a lot of love for this person, but I think she's describing things that she saw in their dynamic here, that she was very young and he knew that and maybe took advantage of it to a certain extent, that she can't unsee. So can I ever know what love is without that dynamic is the first question she's asking. And will I ever be able to feel love for you, someone who is so important to me, that I have so much anger towards now because I see things more clearly, because I understand now that I don't belong to anyone. And that's not how I want to interact with the world. So a very compelling place to end this album. Honestly, there is a lot going on here. It does feel a little bit like there's a lot of half-finished thoughts. And I think that kind of is the point. The way that Lorde has been talking about her personal transformation doesn't really sound like it's reached a conclusion yet, which is great because personal transformations never do, etc. But in terms of just like narratively, it doesn't sound like she's kind of settled on who or what she wants to be as an artist or as a person, hence shapeshifter. And I think that that is an interesting space to be in and to play with creatively. And there is certainly much to admire about this album, which I am thankful for because I was a little worried about the nonsense. What is a little bit disappointing to me and what I find a little upsetting is that the nonsense does kind of make certain moments on this record feel different. So the Current Affair song, I was really into that and I thought that it was really great, but knowing what it's about and knowing the myopic narcissism she displayed by romanticizing the experience that she's talking about there, that makes me think differently of her and it makes me think differently of this song and it makes me think differently of the album. I can't help it. It's too much context. So this is why I'm in favor of be quiet until the album comes out. And I guess that is a scenario that Lorde ran into here. But there are moments that I think are really stunning. I think that Broken Glass and If She Could See Me Now are really strong. David is incredible. There's a lot to mine on that just from a lyrical perspective. The production on this record is incredible. It's amazing, and I feel like I want more of it. Like, I don't think that this album is long enough. I want it to be longer. I want it to be more robust. I want, like, a side B. There, I think, is definitely a lot of ideas to play with and explore further into, but I think the idea of there being a lot of space in between things on the album, there's a lot of silence, there's a lot of pause, that really mirrors the kind of, like, celestial, industrial vibe and spirit that runs through this album. I see why she had a hard time articulating what this album was about before it came out in interviews, because it really is, it's kind of a meditation. It's not necessarily about one thing or anything in particular. It is kind of how it feels to slowly have realizations as you get older. She's not having all the realizations at once, and they're not fully formed thoughts. They're being transmuted through the vehicle of a song. And that is a really compelling way to create, I think, without having all the answers or without trying to get all the answers. There are moments of cringe to me. Clear Blue, I mean, I wouldn't say that was my favorite thing in the world. GRWM, what was that, truly? But you know what? I'm saying that I like at least 50% of this, which is amazing. It's more than I can say about Solar Power, and I will 100% be replaying and listening and following as this like period of time develops. I don't know if I need to listen to any of the interviews anymore. I've heard the speaking about it a lot, but again, this does remind me of what I love about Lorde, which is that she is a weird genius. I still think, after all that I've said about her being nonsensical and kind of embarrassing, a little out of touch, I still think that Lorde is an artistic genius, and I still think that she is capable of creating great work, unlike what other people in her field are doing. And I think finally it seems to me that she's kind of given up on the expectation that she is a main pop girl or needs to even compete in that space at all whatsoever. I think it was something she flirted with and had ideas about. Silver Moon is a song to me that is like a transition between Solar Power and Virgin. That's a direction she could have gone in, which is a great song, but I think it would have been boring. It would have been like Melodrama 2.0. Virgin is not her trying to recreate Melodrama, which is great. It is its own thing, and it has its own internal logic to follow. And I'm pleased. Overall, I am pleased. And thank God for that. So that is my reaction to Virgin. If you want to see the full thing, go to patreon.com/Swiftologist. There will be no Sunday video this week because I had to do this instead. And I will see you next week for your regularly scheduled programming, in which I will be introducing a brand new series to Swiftologist. So stay tuned.